Travalyst has distanced itself from Harry. Once tied to him as the public face of a charitable mission, the moment the big corporate contracts started rolling in, it was clear Harry's raw baggage was more trouble than it was worth. No longer a board member, Harry's been relegated to mere founder on the website. Travalyst's move to cut ties with Harry is of course a calculated one. Originally designed as a charity, it was intended to change the world, or at least the travel industry, for the better. But there's a small issue. The initial investment came from public donations to the Royal Foundation. Yep, the very same public who'd contributed to a charity supporting a broad range of causes, not necessarily Harry's latest pet project. This little financial manoeuvre should have been a major scandal, but the noise of Megxit quickly buried it under a mountain of distractions. A review of the Charities Commission's investigation report reveals an interesting twist. The investigation stopped dead once the funds landed in Travalyst's accounts, conveniently beyond the scope of inquiry. There were no further questions raised. After all, Travalyst was meant to be a charity, not a business, but when the business model started to take shape, the scrutiny vanished. And here's the real kicker. The Sussexes were reportedly planning to launch a charity linked directly to their royal titles. Anyone recall SussexGlobalCharities.com? This website, with its royal-flavoured aura, would have allowed Harry and Meghan to solicit donations, implying a connection to the monarchy that may not have actually existed. That subtle implication could have been an excellent way to attract major corporate donors eager to flaunt their ties to the royal family, all under the guise of charity work. Speculation runs wild that after stepping down from royal duties, the Sussexes were keen on leveraging their titles for just such a purpose, perhaps even making it look like donations to their charity had the royal seal of approval. This was more than a mere rebranding exercise when the name Archwell was introduced. It represented a massive shift. What started as a royal endeavour was now a non-profit, set up in Delaware, where a large chunk of the funds could easily be spent on expenses, including, of course, salaries. This isn't the first time the Sussexes are rumoured to have misused charitable funds. Money from the Royal Foundation was allegedly funneled into Sussex Royal, which then morphed into Travalyst, where more financial questions remain unanswered. And when scrutiny arose, the palace, ever adept at damage control, was quick to intervene. The abrupt shutdown of SussexGlobalCharities.com was just the beginning. The palace also made a swift statement about the end of the Sussex Royal brand, perhaps in part to quell any suspicions about royal connections to the charity. The 2019 split of the Royal Foundation into two separate entities for Harry and Meghan and William and Catherine was framed as a natural progression, but some believe it was really a cover-up for what was happening behind the scenes. The sudden departure from the Sussexes' shared foundation could have been prompted by concerns over the growing questions about how funds were being handled. As for Harry's promised donation of his share of the Diana Princess of Wales Memorial Fund to Centrebell, it turns out the funds didn't go exactly where he said they would. Instead, as tax filings for Archwell suggest, the money went elsewhere, likely into the coffers of their newly formed non-profit. The full financial picture remains murky, but it doesn't seem that the public's trust in charitable donations has been a top priority. To summarise, the Royal Foundation became Sussex Royal, which then liquidated. Sussex Royal turned into MWX, which was investigated only for the funds to be transferred into Travalyst's accounts. The investigation was dropped once that happened. Though the Charities Commission deemed the transfer legal, they also noted issues with documentation and spending. And now Travalyst operates as a non-profit, partnered with Google no less. But questions about its financial transparency still linger.